Hello and welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. This is the Community Shield edition. I have with me my co-host Abra Aziz. First of all, I want to congratulate you on this warm-up trophy. Congratulations.
Of course, you're gonna call this a warm-up trophy now, since you didn't win it. But a trophy is a trophy, bro. And two trophies in 1 month, and just the performance, like we were discussing before. This is a performance of how the team performed actually, beating Liverpool twice, City, Chelsea in the space of towards the end of like the past two months is has been like a very good. That kind of those kind of performances give you the belief going into a new season and something very exciting to look forward to. Arsenal's back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, two trophies. Arteta's on the wheel, and this was a strong Liverpool side. And despite that, like Arsenal didn't have a couple of their big players. They didn't have Pepe. They didn't have Lacazette. But despite that, they put on a strong performance. Yes, Liverpool had their fair share of chances, but at the same time, Arsenal were clinical and they did contain Liverpool to the end. And it went to penalties and they won. So it must be a very impressive. Like you must be very impressed with how it's going right now.
Absolutely, I was very, very impressed with the performance yesterday. Like it looked like when back in about even 7, 8 months back, when Arsenal would come into a big game, we were always worried. But like that's kind of slowly changing. I think the players also. I think with Arteta in the team now for 6 months, he's kind of instilling that belief that set up in the team that they can go out and win. And that's what Tierney said in the interview as well. He said that the team is believing that there's a possibility, there's a plan in place, and they're executing that plan well, which is very heartwarming to see, because this is what was missing under Unai Emery, or when Arteta even picked up initially. Like he was trying to set that up, and there was missing, and the performance have been increasingly improving over the past few months, and that is what we want to see. You want to see a team improve under a new manager, and that's exactly what we're getting to see. And I'm very excited for the new season now.
Yeah, and the two things I think which impressed me about Arsenal is they're able to defend, like even though they do have the weaknesses in that defense, but they're able to contain teams. But also on the other end, they're being more clinical. Like we've seen Arsenal waste so many chances over the past couple of years, even against the weaker teams. But they've been much more clinical now, and I think Arteta's instilled that in his players.
Absolutely, I think the likes of Aubameyang having a good season always helps, because he's a class act. He's always scoring those goals. But like you said, Lacazette, Pepe, everyone's kind of coming in, chipping in. Pretty much like you're saying, instilling the confidence. We're getting fewer chances, but we're finishing them, which is always nice.
Yeah,
to see.
and they're fighting. They're not giving up. They're fighting. You can see them playing for the manager.
That spirit is there. Yeah, that's what's important.
Yeah, so let's crack down on the player ratings. We'll start with the goalkeeper. I mean, since he's come in, he's been outstanding. What do you think about Martinez's performance yesterday?
Yeah, I think he had a pretty solid performance again. He had one or two good chances against Sadio Mane one-on-one. He was able to save them off, especially one where he was in the initial part of the first half, where he was one-on-one pretty much, and he was able to make himself big and stop it with his legs. That was very, very good. So, and in general, his distribution has been good. He's really picked up from where he left off in the FA Cup. Very good performance. I'll give him an 8 or 10.
Well, Martinez 8 on 10.
Sir.
Yeah, and moving on, we go to Hector Bellerin.
He had a couple of important defensive decisions that he took well. He was decent enough going forward. He had a pretty good game. Nothing really to keep me worried or anything of the sort. Although when he was substituted, Cedric came out and was the reason the goal went. But yeah, Hector he had a good game. I'd give him a 7 on 10. I think pretty solid game.
Yeah, I mean, Robertson was hitting a lot of crosses from that side, but Robertson is Robertson. So, but apart from that, I think it's probably a decent performance for Bellerin.
I think he was okay. Overall, he did a pretty decent job, yeah. So, and I'm going to give everyone extra half a point because they want to
give. Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll go to David Luiz.
David Luiz, I honestly thought he's been very good in the Arsenal defense lately. But I think today he was caught out of position a couple of times, and he was a little bit over the place. I mean, I'm just being a little critical of his performance, although he did, for the most part, he did a decent job. But I'm being a little critical. There were a couple of instances where it could have gone bad because he was out of position and stuff.
When he was playing out, when he was playing out of the back as well, there was a few times where it could have been.
misplaced passes, a couple
Yeah.
of times where he had a little bit out of position and stuff like that. So I'm just going to be a little critical and give him a 6.5 because he kind of got my heart in my mouth for a couple, like one or two times. But that's just very critical view of David Luiz. He scored a nice penalty in the end, so that's always nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to
But
give him
fair enough, because if those led to goals, then you would be giving him way less. So I think that's fair enough. That's
just a little critical. I'm sorry, David Luiz.
yeah. And Rob Holding, he looks like he might be going on loan this season. But like your thoughts on his performance in the club?
There's also news about him possibly going on a permanent transfer as well. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so I mean, you could see that he's a little slow. Like I mean, of course, you can't really, not a lot of people can compare to Mane's pace because
Yeah.
Mane is really fast. But he was getting outdone by Mane a couple of times, and that's really not what you want to see as your solid defender. So I think again, similar to David Luiz, just a little bit off pace, a little bit, and a couple of misplaced passes as well. So I'm just going to give him a 6.5, similar to David Luiz, even though overall he did okay, but just being a little critical of my two central defenders at this point because there were a couple of instances where both of them luckily went in our favor because they didn't lead to any goals or anything, but that could have cost us. So just a little
Yeah.
critical.
Fair enough. Moving on to Tierney.
He was my boy. Good performance again. He was
He's been the defender for Arsenal in
yeah,
this like last half of the season. Like
really kept the defense
yeah.
moving, and he's also been able to give those those uh, he's able to pull the ball out of the back pretty well, which is
Yeah.
helping the team. He's able to he's not he's not fending off to that pressure that when Mane or Salah or someone is coming towards too close to him, he's not too worried. So that's always nice to see. So that's why I'm 7.5. I think he had a very good game.
7.5. Yeah. And I think this guy was probably one of the best players of the game, Maitland-Niles.
What a player, man! I'm gonna be honest. I had my doubts with him. I was a little bit worried when he was early part of the season when he was a little bit over the place. I think he was not really enjoying what he was doing. This is a very clear example of a player who's been coached well. I think Arteta has sat him down. He's coached him well. He's told him what exactly he needs to do. And when someone like Maitland-Niles knows what to do, he looks a completely different player. And Emery, I felt like he was not being given exact directions. I think he was a little bit haphazard over there, so that was a little bit of an issue. But I think he's sat Maitland-Niles down. He's told him, okay, this is what I expect off of you, and he's delivered no bounds. I'm going to give him an
8.5.
8.5. A 9, man. Come on,
Nine.
he really deserved it. He had a very very good game.
An extra point for the
So
trophy.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a brilliant performance, and like you said, I think a lot of credit goes to Arteta for changing his game up and like giving him direction. He's been very impressive.
birthday boy, Community Shield, a first England call up. You can't ask
Yeah.
for
And for sure. And for the next one, I wish there was Liverpool fans here because I want to say this guy was the best Egyptian on the field during the game. Mohamed Al Nani.
What a guy! What a comeback! What a comeback performance! I mean, he just stuck there. He dug in. He was pretty much like literally annoying the front three of Liverpool with the lack of a better word, but he was literally all over the place. Like I was very thoroughly impressed by his performance. I think uh, there is a lot more to that you can do in that position. But what he
Yeah.
did in terms of that defensive capability, this just kind of like pinching in, like jumping in, coming in front of those players, and just creating that little bit of a nuisance with a lack of a better word. And I think he did a very good defensive job, just helping the central defenders out. And he was kind of running around, and he put in the effort. He showed that he wants to stay in this team, and I think he'll be a good squad player. Just coming off and kind of just uh, mimicking these performances for the last 15-20 minutes when we want to close a game down when in the season that we have coming. I think he'll be a good squad player. I don't think he'll be a starter, but I think he'll be a good squad player. And just for today's performance, an extra half point because he was the better Egyptian, 7.5.
7.5. Yeah, he was for sure. And that's the thing under Arteta. These guys, like even like you said, like he probably didn't do like something like crazy out of the box, but like just the effort he's putting in. It's like they want to win this. They're putting that extra mile in to win the game. So I think that's the one impressive thing about Arsenal right now.
Yeah.
And Granit Xhaka.
Granit Xhaka again. I mean, he had a decent performance. nothing really. He didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't do anything right as well. Like he was there in his position, he was doing okay. He did his job. Not much to comment on him. He I felt like he could have done a little bit more going forward, but he wasn't able to produce that. So just for that reason, seven. Nothing much to comment on Jaka.
Seven for Xhaka. And moving on to Bukayo Saka.
Oh man, he had a good game again. I think
Yeah,
that's
very impressive.
because there were a couple of games towards the end of the last season where he kind of felt flat a little bit. He just didn't seem like maybe he was tired, maybe he was exhausted. I
I'm
think
sure it was fatigue. They had so many games.
exactly. So this break has done him good. I think he's come out and he kind of showed the faith that the team has put in him, and he came out with a good performance. He also did have the assist, so I'm going to give him an 8. I think he had a good game. He was impressive moving forward, and he did create that
He did, yeah.
issues for the back line of the Liverpool.
Yeah, like he could have easily had another assist or two. Like he was creating a lot of problems.
Right.
So 8 for Saka. Moving on to Eddie and Nketiah.
Eddie, honestly, he had a relatively poorer game. I'm being a little bit critical on him. There were a couple of chances that he could have done better on. There were a few instances where he could have passed when he went for glory and stuff like that. But he's like a typical center forward. He wants to score all the time, and that sometimes goes against him. Um, I thought he could have held up the ball a little bit better, but I think he'll get better because he's younger, and I think he has an opportunity to improve. Today, as of the game, as of the community game, I think he was a little poor, so I'm just going to be a little critical of him and give him a 6.5.
6.5. But overall, if you look at it, I mean, not this game, but in general, like he's a good backup to Lacazette. Like you're happy with that?
Absolutely. I don't think we need anybody else in the front line center forward. I think him, Martinelli. I'm waiting for him to come back. He can perform. He can put in that performance at the center forward role as well. So
Okay.
I think we're there.
So 6.5 for Nketiah, and then moving on to the big man, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
What a player! I don't know why we haven't signed that. Why he hasn't signed the thing yet? I just don't get it. Everything indicates to him almost there. I don't know what kind of last minute formality is left. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
he's
It's
been
strange, right? Like, I mean, he's playing the new season and he still hasn't signed the contract. Like,
he's been teasing us with those tweets every now and again, and
I think he's
and
signing, yeah.
I mean, I just hope it's a matter of some kind of formalities just left to be done. I don't know what it is, but hopefully that news comes out soon. Just waiting for that to kind of be official. I feel like it's almost done, but I just wanted to I just want Arsenal to put out a tweet saying that it's done, another extension of 3 years, 4 years, whatever, you know. But in terms of performance, again, solid performance, amazing goal, beautiful goal, pretty decent. Nothing really to fault him for. He put in that defensive work as well. He's running back. He was helping Maitland-Niles out a little bit. That goal was great, and then he pretty much perfect penalty, and just with all that pressure, just to nail it in the corner. Beautiful finish. Nothing. There was no real I was not worried for 1 second. Like when he was walking up there, I was not worried for 1 second. I just knew what's going to happen. I knew we were going to win that on that shot. So that's the kind of confidence that I feel like some of the other forwards that Arsenal has had in the past, after like pretty much after Henry. I think there were instances where a few players were Van Persie was there in the middle. Actually, pretty much I have to be fair to Van Persie. I think after Van Persie, I haven't seen anyone like give me that kind of confidence when Alba
Thank you for naming Van Persie.
I mean, for us, he was incredible that one season.
Yeah.
He was like scoring every single thing. Like he was scoring so well. I don't like him as a person after what he did, but that season he was great, right? And since then we've had a few, like we've had Chamak, we've had Giroud, but I was always worried when they were on the ball. Like I wasn't sure if they would finish. But with Aubameyang, I was so confident that he finished. I wasn't worried for a second. So like this performance, he was incredible performance. The goal and the penalty, 8.5.
8.5. You know what the thing is, Aubameyang, he's been impressive ever since he joined Arsenal. He was impressive before that as well when he was in Dortmund. But I think now in the last 2-3 months, he's getting that service as well.
Right.
We saw even after the lockdown, like there's a couple of games where against Brighton and even against City in the initially where Arsenal lost, he wasn't getting that service, but now he's getting that service and he's delivering. He will miss chances. I think he missed one sitter against Olympiacos, which cost him the Europa League spot. But apart from that, I think he now that the service is improving, he's gonna shine more as well.
Absolutely, and I'm just waiting for like this is already an improvement, right? There's going to be more improvement. There's like when with the formation that we played yesterday, if that doesn't work, we have a backup in terms of maybe I don't know if they can sort out what's going on with Mesut Ozil, have him kind of come in and kind of or like even Emil Smith Rowe has had a very good season on loan. He comes back, he provides that kind of attacking midfield kind of role. So things like that will improve. There will be service that will be given, and I think there's a lot more to come. I'm just hoping that he signs and there's no last minute deals
Yeah.
or issues that suddenly come out of nowhere. But I'm so excited for this new season. I'm just waiting for it to get started.
So you're going 8.5.
Yes, sir.
8.5 for Aubameyang. And for the bench, if you just want to quickly give your thoughts on Cedric.
He had a poor game. He looked lackluster.
He had a good half an hour. So
Yeah, he had. That's what I'm saying. He had a good half hour, but he looked lackluster. He was beaten for pace a lot of times.
yeah.
He could have really made that clearance to finish off that to not allow that goal to go in. I mean, I don't know what he was doing over there. I think he had a poor game. I'm going to give him a 5. I think he had a poor game. Poor half hour. Yeah.
4.5. And the other three were on for 8 or 10 minutes. If you want to give your quick ratings, you could. Like Joe Willock.
Yeah, Willock had a very, very, very big chance where he could have just really headed it in. He had a free header. He could have finished it in, I think it was the 89th minute. That would have surely been the winner. He wasn't able to convert that, but he put in a good shift for those 15 minutes that he was kind of on, not even 15, I think it was 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 10, 12 minutes, yeah.
Reece Nelson also was pretty good when he came on. He wasn't effective enough, maybe because he didn't have the time, but he was running around. He was trying to create that chances, and I think the last 5-10 minutes, I think we had a few attacking chances that we couldn't. I mean, that didn't come to, that came nothing, but not much to comment. I don't think he had enough time. But Joe Willock had that huge chance that he should have really finished. So,
Yeah.
I mean, 6 each to each, both of them. I think there was not a lot that he could have done.
Yeah, true.
The time that they had, but Cedric had a poor game when he came on.
Yeah, and I think we summed up Arsenal's performance. Yeah.
For the Liverpool performance.
Yeah, I mean Liverpool. They had chances. I think Robertson was the best player. He created a lot. He whipped a lot of balls in the a lot of balls into the box, but there was nobody at the end of it. But I was very disappointed with Mohamed Salah. I think I don't know if it's rushiness or what it is, but yeah, they looked a bit. They didn't finish their chances. They weren't as clinical. Minamino, he was really good. He had a couple of chances and he scored one as well. I think he was impressive. But apart from that, Firmino as well. Nothing exciting. Mane had a couple of chances, didn't finish again. I think they had to be a bit more clinical. It'll be interesting to see how they go on like when the season starts, because Liverpool were just incredible. But if they do slip up during the season, it'll probably be this like last 2 years competing with City. It could be like like fatigue or like just like wearing out, because the Liverpool play an intense game. We saw yesterday as well. They're pressing the Arsenal, and like they run around and everything. But it'll be interesting to see how they go like on another full stretch season.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see. I mean, with news of Messi probably joining City, it's just going to make things a lot more interesting to see. But yeah, they had a pretty good game. But who do you think was their poor performer, like the worst performer of the game?
I mean, like the defense, like Williams wasn't. He didn't look too impressive to me. Gomez was okay, but I think I have to give it to Salah, man. I expected more from him. Like it's very. I know Liverpool fans won't like this. Like I think Mohamed Salah is an amazing player. I rate him high. Like people say, oh, he's a one-season wonder. I don't believe all that, even though I'm not a Liverpool fan. But I think he's a proper baller. But like. He needs to finish his chances, man. I've been saying this for like 6 months now. Like he gets into the crazy positions and just doesn't finish his chances. If you look at the whole season as well, like he could have doubled his goal tally if he wanted to. So I think again, he missed a few chances. He was silent, and I think El Neni was the Egyptian to look out for in this game. But yeah, like even when Wijnaldum, Fabinho, like in the midfield, they didn't have a great game. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't just like look at Salah. Even the defense, like apart from Van Dijk, they looked a bit shaky. So I wouldn't like just blame the one guy, but like I just expected more from him. And if you notice as well, like Arsenal did get the ball, and like they were creating, so that midfield wasn't as strong as you would expect a Liverpool midfield to be.
Yeah, and I think honestly, just maybe first game back after a while, they were just getting their feet wet and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah, it could
this
be. Yeah.
Liverpool, yeah, this Liverpool team is definitely a menacing team, and they will pretty. I'm pretty sure they'll go all guns blazing when the season starts.
Yeah.
Also, just a quick comment. Hats off to them actually waiting there, standing outside, and showing very good sportsmanship and clapping when the Arsenal players are taking their medals. I think a very good sportsmanship.
Let's see if they do that when if United or City win the Premier League. But yeah,
Not
yeah,
the case. It's usually not the case because you usually see the losing
yeah,
players
yeah,
run inside,
yeah.
but they stood out. They actually, and the Klopp also, he was leading from the front. He was smiling and clapping. I think that's hats off to that.
Yeah, yeah, and one thing I think Klopp is really smart. Like these kind of games, even when we saw after they won the Premier League, they lost a couple of games and everything. But I think they're just trying to reserve their energy and go full throttle when the season starts. I could be wrong, but
Yeah,
I think it could be a strategy from Liverpool, like not to put their foot on the gas until the season starts. Because, like you said, if Messi comes, man, it's almost game over. Like if he goes to Man City, will be ridiculously strong. Already, like without Messi, they're still like and Aguero didn't play a lot of the games as well, but they're still like dominating games. So I think to cope up with that, it might be a strategy from Klopp to just go all guns blazing when the season starts.
honestly, wouldn't be surprised. I think he's a smart guy, and then you save up the energy because you don't want to like burn it all in a community shield game. Maybe that's fair, but like different teams to have different things to look for. They
Yeah.
have a Premier League title to defend. Arsenal has to get in the top four. There's a difference in the two way the two teams are probably setting up for the season. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this Liverpool team, like I said, is a very very good team, and this is a very small kind of a blip in their hopefully looking forward to a pretty good
Yeah.
season for them.
And like with the likes of Robertson and Arnold, they'll always create chances. They'll always whip those balls into the box. It's just getting at the end of those. And I think they do have quality players. Mane, Firmino, even Firmino looks good. Salah as well, top class. So I think as the season progresses, they will score goals and be a threat to teams. But just to wrap things off, yeah, your prediction for Arsenal going into this, we'll analyze them more going ahead. But like for now, your prediction, what does it look like? I know you're gonna say they're gonna win and everything, but yeah, what are your thoughts going into the season?
When I'm joking around, they're winning the league, but but realistically though, I'm looking for a top four finish. That's what I'm looking for. If we can finish top four, I think that's an incredible improvement from our previous season. And that is what I think we need to focus on. Get back in the Champions League. I think that's priority for me. If we can do that, considering Liverpool being Liverpool is pretty good. City is significantly good right now, and if they get Messi, God only knows what's going to happen. Chelsea have bought a lot of good players, and they probably are looking like a team that will be a force also moving in the season. They will have to be, of course, there's going to have to be strategies and stuff that they're going to have to work on because a lot of new players usually sometimes it takes a little time to gel and everything. But they look like a good solid team with some good buys because they've improved defense in terms of Silva and Chilwell. Very good buys. I think their defense was lacking. Plus, they have the likes of Werner and Ziyech coming in and stuff like that. So they look like a menacing team as well. Uh, United has not done anything yet, but there's still time, and maybe they have enough. They have the funds to make it. So I think it will honestly be the top four. I'll be very happy.
I think our Arsenal. One thing is for sure when it comes to big games and everything. Now they have like a manager who's gonna get it tactically correct.
Yeah,
But what I want to see about Arsenal is consistency because like I honestly feel winning the FA Cup wasn't the best thing in terms of the next season. Like I'm not last season. Like I mean that trophy was needed.
right.
To a point and everything, but like I think it might be a distraction next season, Europa League, to manage the players and everything. Like, okay, if they get Gabriel, he's a really good signing, but at the end of the day, squad depth is still an issue for Arsenal, and that's what's going to test their consistency, right? Will they be able to show this level of performance game in and game out, like like what Liverpool have done?
Yeah.
I feel that they could have actually competed really well, like if they didn't have Europa League, but still they're a good team. But what I want to see is what will be interesting is like how consistent can Arteta make this Arsenal team.
And that's, I think, the next step. I think we've showed that there is that belief, that spirit in the team. Now to kind of do this week in, week out is what is the next challenge. And I think with how we've improved, I'm hopeful that even the consistency will slowly but surely come through. And I'm saying, I'm realistically being the top four as a target. I think if we can get top four, I'll be very happy with the season.
Top four.
Even if we get no trophies and we just get top four, I'll be happy.
All right, sounds good. I think we wrapped up everything. Just lastly, I forgot to ask you Arteta's rating for
10 out of
the
10.
competition. 10 out of 10.
10. He's my boy.
I mean, yeah, it's good. It's all set up for an exciting season, both Premier League, Champions League, and for Europa League as well. But it's going to be very exciting. I think, like like you said, a lot of eyes will be on the transfer market. We'll discuss that as well in future episodes. But thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you soon.
Always a pleasure.